to Lesbian Pirates of Baja. We are Shay and Yona, and we sail on Holoholo, our 38-foot sailboat in the Sea of Cortez, Mexico. We are in the middle of a complete refit of Holoholo. We are rebel sailors, we like to do our own work, think for ourselves, and don't like rules. We live close to nature and enjoy the rewards and trials of living on a sailboat. We value community, bartering, being free, and creating our own journey. This is very much a spiritual journey that challenges us in all ways possible.
So the journey with Eileen May,
Yes, I think we should share what happened to Eileen May. I think it's time.
Okay. Eileen May is a hard subject to talk about because in a way it felt like a little bit of a failure. But at the same time, we learned so much. How could it be a failure? But I don't want to give the story away. But
it's also a part of Holoholo's story.
Right, because if we hadn't started and obtained Eileen May and Barra de Navidad, we wouldn't have Holoholo. So
we wouldn't be on this lifestyle. We wouldn't have, quit our jobs, moved to Mexico,
right.
Started cruising.
Yeah.
Eileen May was the impetus for, a lot of positive changes, even though Eileen May is no longer with us.
Oh, you gave it away.
Well, they know that.
All right. It's how did Eileen demise, which we won't, spoiler alert. We'll take you along the journey. But we needed to go to Barra de Navidad, where we bought the boat. And we didn't buy the boat up in the Pacific Northwest. We just kind of did it ass backwards. We bought the boat in Mexico. The price was right. It was in our budget, especially after we spent our boat money on my back by flying to England to have a new 2 artificial disc. So we did things a little differently. We put in a lot of sweat equity, and we made it work. And Eileen May was a good boat. She was a ferro cement boat, which there weren't a whole lot around, and we didn't know a whole lot about it, but we learned along the way.
So here's the story of Eileen May.
We flew to Barra de Navidad in Jalisco, Mexico from Seattle, Washington in February of 2017 to purchase Eileen May. This was our first cruising sailboat, and we were very excited about what this would mean for our future. 6 months later, we packed up our belongings and a little boatload of marine parts into our old Ford van and headed south to Barra de Navidad. It was a wonderful road trip, and I think I'll do a separate video just on what happened during those 12 days. October of 2017 officially began our cruising lifestyle, but little did we know this would be the beginning of months, if not years, of boat projects. To make Eileen May livable meant removing all of the mold, which was on every surface inside, so we had to remove everything from inside and put it out into the cockpit and on the dock in order to clean the boat. We were not used to this type of heat, and it made working very challenging. We looked forward to the evenings when we would have a breeze and a break from the heat. This is a great location to work on Eileen May, since there was a decent sailing community and shops nearby, and just a lovely town. After a couple of months in the marina, we were able to move Eileen May to the lagoon and do the rest of the work at anchor. This was also our introduction to engine work, and lots of it, along with electrical, plumbing. Every system had to be gone through. There was something that needed to be fixed.
How's it going today, Shay? Living the dream?
I'm living the dream. I'm breathing in turpentine fumes. I'm sweating buckets. I can feel the sweat collecting around my waistband. Oh, wait, no, it's gone past it because I've lost so much weight. Yeah, sweating. I'm here in the dark trying to get some rust off, and frankly, I'm just gonna paint over the little rust. I'm just getting the big rust, big bubbles. Yeah, living the dream here. Yeah, thanks.
There are so many photos of me with my head down in some hole. I feel like most of my time was spent upside down with a wrench in my hand. And all 6 feet of me squeezed into the engine compartment for hours on end, so when I finally extracted myself, I could barely straighten up. Turns out the alternator was one of the big problems, and as soon as we replaced that, the engine worked like a champ. We learned to celebrate even the small successes. Finding the right part, meeting a new friend, or even a day that just nothing broke was cause for celebration. Learning how to balance the hard work with the fun is definitely a big lesson in cruising life. We were also adjusting to being with each other 24/7, and occasionally we needed some time out. Finally, we were able to go on our first sail.
Hola, we are sailing. No engine, just sails.
Here,
First
let's
time.
prove it. Main's up, jib's up. There's Barra. We're tired.
Took 5 months to get to this point.
Here, let's do this.
Adios.
Adios.
It was great to have Eileen May out, and it felt like a huge step towards sailing north. The fun was short-lived, however, because underneath the V-berth, where the fuel tanks live, we discovered an ongoing leak. We had to remove everything, all of the fuel lines going down to the fuel tanks, and we found the culprit. 4 different types of pipes had been glued, clamped, and taped together. This would ultimately be the reason for the demise of Eileen May. It took us a few weeks to source the correct fuel line and install it properly, and then we were ready, again, to attempt our trip north. But we were yet to be aware of the larger issue and what it would mean for Eileen May. We gathered our courage and finally left the harbor at Barra de Navidad to head north. During this journey, we would make it to Puerto Vallarta, Isla Isabel, Mazatlan, and finally Guaymas, along with many small anchorages along the way. We had not made a passage on our own of this length before, and so this journey was about us getting our sea legs and learning about Eileen May and ourselves as sailors, and about living on the ocean as cruisers. For the most part, we loved it. We loved all of the wildlife sightings. We loved sailing. We loved the passage overall, although there was quite a few moments that weren't so enjoyable. But it was a fantastic time. We planned on taking Eileen May to Wymus, where it was much drier, where we could haul out and do some bottom work and finish the refit on her before going further afield and exploring the Sea of Cortez and possibly the Pacific Ocean. Join us for our next video where I share more about our journey north and what happened to Eileen May.